Welcome back to our Gita Deep Learning Series. Today's session is 31. In fact, we had 31 sessions and I believe 4 supplementary lessons. So that's great. And we are in second chapter. And of course, when we switch to this Zoom mode, actually Zoom mode, our speed is a little bit reduced. We cannot cover more than 3 verses because we used to have in person, like we have in person class. That's okay. So where we are right now is on the second chapter. We covered up to verse 36. That covers the second major topic we have in the Bhagavad Gita. Because the verse 1 to 10 of the second chapter is a problem statement, restatement of the problem statement. What exactly is the fundamental problem? So we have seen that the basic human problem is we are subjected to sorrow. When we are subjected to vulnerability. So that is the problem. Mahabharata, what war is secondary? It's corona or any situation. Whenever the external situation changes, what is going to happen is we are subjected to sorrow. So Krishna was addressing this problem, and that is what is covered from verse 11 to 37. We are going to see the verse 37 today. The central theme of that teaching is you need to do what needs to be done. You need to do what needs to be done. That is what the theme. And that idea is presented in 3 different angles. Verse 11 to 30 presents this idea in a spiritual point of view. In that spiritual point of view, we saw that there are 3 dimensions for a living being, like the physical body, then there is a soul, and there is an Atma. So we saw that the physical body has a finite life and it is subjected to change. And we saw that the soul has a longer life and it transmigrates when the physical body dies. And as far as the Atma is concerned, there is absolutely no changes. And what exactly is our real identity per Krishna's teaching or per the Vedanta's teaching is the Atma. The physical body and the soul are the gadgets given to us. And the problem from a spiritual perspective is we get identified with a gadget rather than the actual self. And as a result, what is going to happen is all the problems of the gadget becomes our problem. So this is what the spiritual point of view. We saw some wonderful words because metaphysically this area is extremely strong, commented by a lot of people around the world, not just India. So then we came to the second argument, which is from verse 31 to 33. And the argument is from a dharmic perspective. We talked about an idea called Swadharma. And I tried to quote Nataraja Guru and his brilliant exposition of what is a Swadharma. And if you can just remember, one cannot judge or one cannot evaluate a person's performance absolutely. A doctor's performance cannot be compared with a teacher's performance. The doctor's performance has to be compared with respect to the domain he is working on. And his duties has to be defined with the domain he is working on. And what he needs to do in a given situation is to be determined by his domain and the time. For example, during the time of Corona, the doctors will have to go out, whereas an IT professional or a program manager like me has to stay inside. So if the doctor go and take my dharma, that becomes paradharma. So Krishna emphasized the point that everybody has to follow their swadharma. And Nataraja Guru gave a brilliant example. The merit of an orange tree is determined or has to be evaluated with the orange it produces, not with the apple. So that's very important. So that part we have seen. And as far as Arjuna is concerned, he was a warrior. And the swadharma of a warrior is to go and fight a dharma yuddha. So we have seen that. And the third point of view, or the third dimension, was from a worldly point of view. Because from a worldly point of view also, like what exactly your honor is going to be impacted. If you don't do what needs to be done, your honor will be impacted. And also other people are going to talk a lot of things about you. But mind you, this is not the primary argument, because the first argument is from the spiritual side, and the second argument is from the dharmic side, and the third argument is from the laukika side. So in Sanskrit, we call it as adhyatmika drishti, and the second one is dharmika drishti, and the third topic is called means the laukika drishti. So from these three angles, Krishna said, you need to do what needs to be done. And as a warrior, it is your duty to go and engage a dharma yuddha. So this is what we saw so far. So with this, let's go to the next, because the next couple of verses, 37 is going to be a transition verse or a recap of all these three different point of views. And then he is going to transition into the next topic, because so far I talked about what needs to be done. And now I need to tell you how it needs to be done. So far I said what you have to do, your duty, that is the what. And then you have to tell how you need to perform your duty. And that is the topic we are transitioning into. Again, the second chapter is a summary. All these topics will be elaborated in the later chapters. Any questions? Have you got the organization? Because this slide is so important, because when you study the second chapter completely, we need to summarize the entire second chapter in one slide, because that is how you try to understand that whether you got the idea or not. Any questions? Okay, so then let's go to verse 37. I would request Anu, if she is on the line, please chant, Anu.
Yeah.
Listen to the live chanting.
Hato va prapsyasi swargam jitva va bhokshase mahim tasmad uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nishchayah.
Beautiful verse again. Hat means it is a culmination of these three different point of views. We have seen an adhyatmika drishti, we have seen a dharmika drishti, and we have seen a laukika drishti. So this is a culmination or a sum up of everything we said. Krishna is saying, Hatva va prapsasi swargam, jitva tva bhokshasi mahim, tasmad uttishta kaunteya, yuddhaya krita nishchaya. Hato va prapsasi swargam. If you get killed when you follow your swadharma, then what did we hear? Like you will get into a higher or a better experience in life, next life. So from a soul perspective, from a subtle body perspective, from a transmigration perspective, your next experience is going to be really good. So this is quoted by Yajnavalkya Smriti, and it according to our Dharma Shastra, when you do your duty, and if you cannot succeed, and if you get killed, or even if you do not get succeed, the drishta phala or the immediate result may not be conducive, but your adrishta phala or the karmas will be extremely positive. So hatva va prapsyasi surgam. Then jitva tva bhokshasi mahim. Suppose there are two alternatives for a war here. Either you will win the war or you will lose the war. If you will lose the war means you will get killed. So if you get killed in this war, to Arjuna, Krishna is saying, a better experience is waiting for you in the next life. That is guaranteed according to the law of karma. But in case if you win the war, what is going to happen? You can rule this country as a victorious person. Remove Arjuna and substitute a doctor or a healthcare professional or a cop or a volunteer fighting against corona. Let's say that if he cannot succeed, definitely means a better life experience is waiting for you. And if you win, what is going to happen? You are defeating your enemy here. So this is true in every situation. So that's why either or you will be victorious. When you follow your dharma, and whatever happens in that course, it is going to be beneficial. That's why Thiruvalur tells, Dharmam talai kakum. And that is why Mahabharata tells, Dharmo rachati rachitaha. So follow dharma, whatever happens, guaranteed you will be protected. So from the 3 point of view, hato va prapsasi surgam, jitva va phokshasi mahim, tasmadustishta kaunteya, yuddhaya krita nischaya. Therefore, get up, Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. Yuddhaya krita nischaya, determine to do your duty. That's it. Get up and determine to do your duty. That's it. It's not a call for war, but it's a call for your swadharma. Please understand that. Nataraja Guru, in his commentary, make it very clear. It's not a call for the war. It is a call for doing your duty. Means either way, like when you follow your dharma, when you follow your duty properly, you will be always victorious. Sometimes the drishta bhala may not be conducive, but definitely your adrishta is going to be at most conducive. From the 3 point of view we saw, we need to do our swadharma, and when we do the swadharma, sometimes we may not succeed, but that's okay. Still, it's better to do the swadharma. So let's see. So there are 2 sentences. One is, if you get destroyed or if you get killed, you will gain heaven. And in our Puranas, in our literature, it is known as Veera Surga. So destroyed, you will get heaven. Victorious, you will enjoy the world. So either way, you are going to succeed. And second sentence is, therefore, tasmat kaunteya uttishta krita nischayaha yuddhaya. Therefore, O son of Kunti, get up and determine or engaged in performing your duties. So this is the summary of this verse. So a couple of more points. A war can have 2 possibilities. Forget about war. Whatever action you do, whatever engagement you do, it has 2 possibilities. One is you get killed or you get defeated, or you will win, and these are the 2 possibilities. If you get defeated, Krishna is saying that you will have a better adrishta or a good karma, which is going to come back as some luck or better experience in the future. And if you win, what is going to happen? You are going to win the results of your action. Therefore here means all the reasons enumerated, right? Enumerated all the reasons, right? From the Adhyatmika Drishti. Second one is the Dharmika Drishti. And the third one is the Laukika Drishti. Arise and act. So the Kathopanishad has a brilliant verse, which is one of the most favorite verse of Swami Vivekananda. Anybody knows that? Very, very, very similar call.
Yeah, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached.
Exactly. Uttishtada jagrata prapyavaran nibodhita. Rise awake and stop not till the goal is reached. You may fall down. You cannot run away from your problems. Face the problem. And I heard there is a beautiful quote. Life is for the hard-working people, not for the weak. You know whose quote is this? Vivekananda. Life is for the hard-working people, not for the people weak. The man dies but once. A weak person will die multiple times. Shakespeare said that. Vivekananda said that. Upanishad says that. So get up and do what needs to be done, come what may. This is the summary of this verse. So I want to give you a quote. Hard work always pays off. So in our Sanskrit Subhashitas, there is a brilliant Subhashita. This brilliant Subhashita tells, Udyamena hi sithyanti Karyani na manoratha nahi suptasya simhasya pravishanti mukhe mrigaha. The point is, things are accomplished. The results are accomplished only through the hard work. So udyamya means it is hard work. And the Subhashita tells, na manoratha, not by daydreaming, right? I can sit and dream everything in the world. But if I'm not putting effort, I will not achieve anything. So this is a brilliant Subhashita. Only with udyama, not with manoratha, things are accomplished. And later Krishna tells, plan out your work and then work out your plan. Plan out your work and work out your plan. Brilliant statement, right? There are two possibilities. The former without latter, meaning the plan but no work. What is that? What is going to get out of that? If you just plan and not no work, it's a sheer waste of time. And what about the latter without the former? You just work but no planning. It's an unproductive confusion. So once again, plan out your work out your plan. The former without latter is a waste of time. And the latter without the former is an unproductive confusion. This was a favorite quote of Steve Jobs, by the way. He often used to quote this verse. So again, coming back to the example, only with hard work, not with daydreaming, things are achieved. And the Subhashita gives a brilliant example. Simha means a lion. So if a lion think that just opening the mouth, these other animals will come and feed him, he will starve and die. That's what the thing is. Nahi suptasya means only by hard work and hunting, a lion can appease his hunger. Not by just opening his mouth and expecting that the other animals will come and enter there. It won't work. So I thought this Subhashita is wonderful in this context. Anybody heard of this Subhashita?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
That sounds good.
Excellent. Okay, so that's what the verse 37. So now let's go to verse 38. Anu?
Sukha dukhe same krutva labha jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papamavapsyasi.
One of the most popular words of Bhagavad Gita. This is a transition verse from the current topic to the next topic. The current topic, we saw that you have to do your duty. But how do you need to do your duty? Because, see, sometimes what happens, imagine the life of a soldier. It involves violence. You have to kill people. And sometimes it is dangerous work, like the corona, the healthcare workers, etc. So sometimes when the work is challenging, how do you need to perform your work? So he tells, Sukha dukhe same krutva. So sukha is pleasure, dukkha is pain. So you have to take equanimity. You have to develop a skill called equanimity. Sukha dukhe means when you get some happiness or pleasure, what do you go? You go on the top of the world. And when something goes wrong, what is going to happen? You completely fall down. So he's calling out three things: sukha and dukkha, labha and alabha, profit and loss. The first one is pleasure and pain, then victory and defeat, jaya and ajaya. So sukha and dukkha, labha and alabha, jaya and ajaya. So in these all the different situations of life, every action you do, it may result in one of these experiences, either sukha or dukkha, or labha or alabha, or jaya or parajaya. So then what happens? Having keep your equanimity or samatva or the stability of the mind. And then what you do? Tato yuthaya yujasva. Then perform your activity. So keep your mind equanimate and control, and then engage in your work and perform what needs to be done. Perform your sotharma. Then what happens? Na ivam papam avapsyasi. You will not be touched by any sin. This will not create any sin. So we can see that up to the previous verse, a major topic is concluded. The why means the why part. Sorry, the what needs to be done. And now we are getting into the how. You will see the first glimpse of that in this verse. So this verse is going to pave the seed of Karma Yoga. So Sukha Dukhe Same Krutva. Consider pleasure and pain alike. Labha labhau jaya jayau. Labha labhau jaya jayau. Like the labha again is gain, and alabha means loss. Jaya means victory, and parajaya means defeat. Then tatho yuthaya yujasva. Engage yourself in the battle of life. Then what? Na evam papam avapsisi. You will not incur any sin. So that is what, there are two sentences are there. One is Kritva sukhadikwe labha labhau jaya jayau same tataha yujasva yuthaya. Meaning taking pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat to be the same, and then prepare for the battle of life. And what is the promise? Sentence 2. Evam avapsyasi na papam. Meaning, thus you will not incur any sin or any papa. This is the topic. So, as I said, like, this is a transition sloga from one topic to the other topic. The previous topic means based on you have to do your sotharma. That was the previous topic. What is the reason why you need to perform your sotharma? So that topic is already established through 3 different point of views. One is a spiritual point of view, second one is a dharmic point of view, and the third one is a worldly point of view. Now, so you need to do the sotharma, that is established. So then how you need to perform your sotharma? And Krishna is saying that you have to perform your sotharma in a spirit called Karma Yoga. So a new topic is introduced. And the glimpse of the Karma Yoga is given, right? Pleasure and pain has to be taken with an equanimous mind. So that doesn't mean that when the pleasure comes, don't laugh, and the pain comes, no, don't cry. But your emotional state has to be completely in your control. Mind you, the emotional state, it is okay to cry, but what happens? It is okay to have anger, but it is okay to have anger, but it is not okay if the anger has you. It is okay if you have sadness, but it is not okay when the sadness has you. It is okay if you are happy, but if happiness has you, it's a problem. So that's why Krishna is saying that there is a threshold, there is a limit with which your emotions can go. It's like when you drive the car, you can take the speed as much as within the speed limit, because it is for your safety and it is for the other people's safety. Like that, your emotional state cannot go out of control. That is the key message of Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is entirely a psychological topic also, because the entire psychology of the Gita is based on raga and dvesha, likes and dislikes. These are 2 technical terms often used in the Gita, meaning raga means my like. Anything you take in the world, right? You may have a like for it, or you may have an unlike for it, and you might be indifferent about that. And mind you, these indifferent things will not create a psychological reaction or an emotional response in you. So Corona, when it came in, I was giving the example the other week. When the Corona came to China, yes, we were sympathetic, but it didn't create an extreme emotional response in you. So the extreme emotional response in me will be invoked when the action I am engaged in has some raga or dvesha. For example, I really want to clear that interview. So my raga is that job. Dvesha, what I wanted to avoid is failure. I cannot afford to fail there. If my raga succeeds, I'm happy, and if the desha succeeds, I'm angry, I'm depressed. So can you understand how the psychology of Gita is defined? So the situation, any situation can invoke, means your attitude could be three different attitude. One is it could be raga, or it could be dvesha, or it could be completely indifferent. And then we came to see that indifferent state will not create extreme emotional response in any individual. Extreme emotional response can be created in an individual only when I have raga and dvesha. And another problem is what I need to do or what I'm doing at a given point of time is entirely determined by the raga and the dvesha. For example, imagine that your child tomorrow has an exam or a detailed interview, and then you saw that, okay, there is a cricket match going on the TV. It's a confusion. What I need to do is sit and prepare for that exam. And what I feel to do is what? Go and watch the match, isn't it? The kids, the Snapchat is on or the Instagram is on. Whenever they hear a beep, their attention is moving away from their studies and going there. So there is a raga for that Instagram or that social media message. And what happens? It pulls you away from what needs to be done. So Gita's psychology or the Gita's Karma Yoga is going to train you in such a way that it is okay to have the Raga Dvesha. Mind you, Gita is not going to tell you that Raga Dvesha is bad. Absolutely not. Gita is going to tell you that yes, every individual has Raga and Dvesha. So I often quote this example, even gods has Raga and Dvesha. If you take Krishna himself, he had raga dveshas, right? He always used to wear the yellow clothes, and he always used to play flutes. He always liked to dance, so that was his raga. But that raga dveshas were not impacting him from what needs to be done. That is what a shift has to happen. Typically, people follow what they feel to do. And what Gita is telling that it is okay to have that feeling, but you have to have control over your emotions and thoughts in such a way that when there is a conflict between what you feel to do versus what you need to do, you're following the dharma. Dharma means dharma and adharma should be the cause for selecting what needs to be done, not the raga dveshas. If the raga dveshas are aligning with that dharma, well and good. But if the raga dveshas are conflicting with dharma, go with dharma. So what needs to be done will take priority over what feels to be done. On a high level, have you got that idea? This is the approach of the Gita. And a lot of psychologists has appreciated this because nobody is saying that raga dveshas are bad. So Carl Jung, the famous disciple of Sigmund Freud and one of the noted psychologists in the modern world, he used to get wonder like seeing this statement. So this is the idea of karma yoga. It's getting started. So let's go a little bit more detail. So the idea, why means so sukha, the whole idea of this verse is the samatvam or the equanimity or the control of that mind. Means when you say equanimity, means that it is not a monotonous single state. It can vary, but that variance should be within the control limit. There is an upper limit and there is a lower limit. It cannot go beyond that. That is what it is said. So this is means a lot of research has happened in the modern world on this particular topic. So it is found that equanimity of the mind alone can sustain one from all the problems of life and the purges of the mind. This is very important. I'm going to show you a scientific discovery. And then this attitude of the mind is going to give you an extra aura in your any achievements. And if you have this attitude, what is going to happen is the work you perform, otherwise you may get ordinary success, it transforms itself into an inspired achievement. See, if you are engaged in the work with a self-forgetful attitude, with a controlled mind, what is going to happen is ordinary success can be heightened to an extraordinary achievement. That is the promise. And this, the technique of bringing the mind and intellect into a condition of steadiness or the stable state is collectively known as yoga. Okay, so this is the term yoga. So if you have heard the word yoga, this is one of the very good meaning of yoga. So the techniques by which your mind can be brought into a condition of steadiness is called yoga. Yoga samadhihi. That is the definition. Verse 53, we are going to see that definition. Yoga Sutra, the first verse is going to give you that. So this equanimity of the mind is extremely important, and Krishna is going to introduce a topic called yoga. So that yoga is going to help us to understand this technique. So this yoga, meaning the how part, is just getting introduced, and we will see this in the next few verses up to 52. So a high level introduction is given in the second chapter, and chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5 is completely on this karma yoga, and chapter 6 is upasana yoga. So when you call yoga, it is combined definition of karma yoga and upasana yoga. And then it's success of life. This is a quote. Actually, I don't know who said this, but success of life is nothing but the capacity to face the failure. Somebody nicely said it. Success of life is nothing but the capacity to face success and failures. A lot of people cannot face the failure, and guaranteed they will not succeed, because some point or the other in their life, they have to taste the failure. Everybody will have to taste the failure at some point or the other. And the human revolution starts with the achievement of this balancing of the mind, because it is a shift in the evolutionary state of the human being, because a lot of scientific researches went into this, because you can see, right, the human brain's evolution from a reptilian brain, the brain got evolved into a mammalian brain, and from a mammalian brain it got into a human brain. When it got into a human brain, we had wonderful capacities. One beautiful capacity of this human system is called thermostasis, ability to maintain the constant temperature of your body. Like that, human brain shows some capacity. What is that capacity? Typically, an animal is, when there is a situation, what happens? A response is programmed. So the human brain has the wonderful ability to put a pause between the sensation and the response. And this is the skill. It is neurologically, it is called basal ganglia. You can Google it. You will see this particular part of your brain can be developed further, and you can build this capacity of this equanimity. And the Gita gives a remarkable stress on training the human mind in this direction. And if you want to achieve freedom in action, freedom in relationship, and freedom in your interactions with the world outside, this is an absolutely mandatory skill. So I gave a reference here. You can say this is a scientific study, which means a neurological study, which is going to prove this case, because the human brain has that capability. And a lot of scientists, Gray Walter, one neurologist on the beginning of this century, he differentiated the human being as the one who has this capacity. And in the actually in the positive psychology, what they call as, means I don't know whether I quoted a book called Learned Optimism the other day, right? I think we have that in our library also. In this Learned Optimism, I believe that it is in the chapter 8. Dr. Seligman introduced a concept called ABCD technique. How to change your pessimism into optimism. And one of the skill or one of the technique he mentions in that book is called ABCD, in fact. So A means whenever there is an adversity, he tells that you have a belief regarding that adversity. For example, your boss didn't smile at you. What happens? You have a belief. Why didn't he smile at me? And that belief is going to create the consequence in your mind. So what Seligman is saying is that if you have the skill to understand that you are responding to this belief and you are able to monitor that belief, then you will be able to change it. And when you change that, what the technique he is saying is D, which is dispute that belief, because 80% of the time that belief is not correct. So A, B, C, D. A is an adversity, B is a belief, C is the consequence, D is the dispute. So when you understand the belief and dispute the belief, what is going to happen? The consequence will be entirely different. And that is what is going to lead you to the energy level in you. That is what is E. Means if you have read, at least read that portion. It is extremely useful. He's giving a lot of exercise to train optimism in your children, in your spouse, in you. A lot of exercises are given. So it's a good reference. And this is exactly fit with this particular topic. Anybody had a chance to read that book, by the way? Okay. So at least if you can read that portion, it is going to help you a lot. So then what is going to happen is, so a measure of stabilization within the mind. Mind you, that word is very important. A measure of stabilization within the mind is required for an effective work. Without that stability, without that control, you cannot do the work. So this is about how to work, and to say precisely how to work efficiently. If you work with an unstable mind, you cannot work efficiently, per Krishna. So if you want to improve your efficiency, you have to work on that stabilization of the mind. I'm not talking about modern psychology. This is 3,000 years before Christ. This was given, and we are studying it. And with a wonder after 2,000 years of the death of Christ. So you can understand the depth and magnanimity of the Gita. So again, a measure of stabilization within the mind is required for the effective work. This is the theory of Gita. So this is about how, not just about how to work, but how to work efficiently. Brilliant words, right? And then remarkable work output is possible when that inner stabilization happens. Something called mental equilibrium. And that is the goal of Karma Yoga. Again, remember the sequence. You are supposed to do your Swadharma in a given condition. And this Swadharma can be done on a third-rate way, and the Swadharma can be done in the most efficient way. And Krishna, after saying that you have to do this, and he is teaching us how to do that. So this sequence and the flow is extremely important. So this is what it is. So be balanced in Jaya and Ajaya, victory and defeat, Labha and Alabha, gain and loss, and Sukha and Dukkha. Any questions before we go to the next verse? Wow, everybody's quiet today?
Rajji, I had a question.
Of course, Arnabji. Please go ahead.
So to this, the equanimity,
Yeah.
it's very proper as a philosophy and very it's very right also. But how do you actually do it? The first sign of sorrow totally disrupts your
Yeah.
equanimity.
That's what the next upcoming verses are, right? So this is just started. So we are starting, and please give attention. And this is what is going to be taught. More details on third chapter, fourth chapter, and fifth chapter. So almost 120 verses are dedicated for this sixth chapter. So a set of practices are given, but it is just introduced in this verse. So as I said, right? So you have to do your duty. How you have to do? You have to do this in this way. So Krishna is a good marketing man also, right? On verse 40, he just marketed this much better. He says that if you don't do this, this is going to happen. So this is just a glimpse, a trailer. So actually there is a sequence is defined. So I'll put a chart and publish for all of you once we cover the chapter 3. These are the steps you have to do to develop emotional intelligence. If you remember, last summer we planned a workshop called Emotional Intelligence. Somehow that didn't happen. We did everything except that. And that workshop is exactly the same. In the modern world, there is a pioneer called, who is the pioneer in emotional intelligence in the modern world?
Daniel Goleman?
Exactly. So all his techniques align with this teaching. So I think, Anabji, like since you work in corporates, right, your company, how much they emphasize on emotional intelligence? If you have, means all the leaders will go through emotional intelligence training once at least in their lifetime. So I will do a workshop for all of you once the center opens. It's a in-person workshop with a lot of activities based on the teachings of the Gita and the Daniel Goleman, both. So one day I will dedicate entirely for the Goleman, and the other day I will dedicate for Gita, and then I will recap and connect and show you the similarities. But I will give you with a lot of practical tips how to develop. The good thing, Krishna right now saying that this is a skill you need to develop. And then the good thing is that what? Some people are blessed with this with their birth, like some people are by birth a lot of emotionally intelligent. And some people are extremely emotionally unintelligent. But the good thing is that you can, it's a learned skill. You can always learn it. And how to learn it, that is what the Karma Yoga is. So Karma Yoga is a revolution in the spiritual history of the world, because no scripture in the world, meaning, gives this idea so brilliantly like this. So let's pay a lot of attention to Karma Yoga. And so far what we have seen, it can be experienced, even though you can have a theoretical understanding of that. It can be experienced only later point of time in our spiritual journey. But what we are going to do from now onwards, you can practice now, here and now. So that is the beauty. So let's go to the next verse, 39. Anu.
एषा ते बृहिता साङ्ख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्विमां शृणु बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि.
It's a beautiful verse. Again, it's a transition verse. So today it's a transition from whatever we have seen to the Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga begins. That's what it is. Esha te apihi ta sankhya. So far, Krishna said, I have been telling you Samkhya. Samkhya here means the knowledge, the what needs to be done. This cannot be, please don't take this as the Samkhya Darshana of the Kapila Maharshi. Here Samkhya, the word means logical reasoning. That's all. Because the word Samkhya came from, Sankhya means numbers. So if you say 1, 2, and 3, what would be the next progression? Everybody knows that it is 4. So Sankhya is like that. Therefore, So if you say 1, 3, 5, you know that the next is 7, because there is a sequence, there is a logic. So that is why that particular thought is known as Samkhya. So Krishna is saying that so far I have given logically that you need to do your Swadharma. I use the spiritual angle logically, and I use the dharmic angle logically, and I use the laukika angle logically. And now listen from me, Buppir yoge timam shruno. Now you listen to from me the teaching called about yoga. So Buppir yoga, so means the knowledge. Buddhi here means knowledge. Knowledge about yoga. So you hear from me, so far you heard Samkhya means the knowledge. And now you listen to me the details about yoga. Very important. So from Samkhya, we are moving to yoga.
Rajaji, what's the difference between Gyan Yoga and Samkhya?
Samkhya, it's the same. Jnana yoga is Samkhya, because yoga of knowledge is in this particular context is known as Samkhya. And now we are going to see Karma Yoga. So yoga on a high level can be seen as Samkhya means Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. Every other yoga is folded into Karma Yoga, whether it is Bhakti Yoga, whether it is Upasana Yoga, whether it is Karma Yoga, the so-called Karma Yoga, all these will come under Karma Yoga. So on a high level basis, it is known as Karma Yoga. And what is the purpose of that? Because Samkhya, the purpose is to give you knowledge, whereas the yoga's purpose is to gain a pure and a stable mind. Remember, that is the sequence we have been using throughout. In your spiritual journey, the first step is gain a stable and a pure mind. And what exactly is the practice you need to do for that? Yoga. And once you gain a pure and a stable mind, you need knowledge, because knowledge is a means this Vedanta is a means of knowledge to help you to understand yourself. But for that to work, there is a prerequisite, and that prerequisite is a stable and a pure mind. So Esha te pihita Sankhya. So far I talked to you about the knowledge part, and now I'm going to talk to you about yoga, which is going to give you a pure and a stable mind. Buddhya yukto yaya partha. So if you endowed with karma yoga, with these teachings, Buddhya means with this knowledge. So if you engage in this practice, what is the benefit? Karma bandham prahasyasi, the bondage of karma. You will be completely freed from your mental impressions. The mental impression is what is going to make your mind pollute, and the mental impression is what is going to make your mind unstable. So basically Krishna is saying that so far I talked about the knowledge, now I'm going to talk about yoga and the benefit of practicing this yoga. Look at him. First sentence is giving the benefit. Without understanding the benefit, even a fool will not do anything. He knows that. So if you practice, you will be free from the bondage of karma, from the bondage of all the vasanas. So that's what it is. So let's say that Esha Vritti Sankhye Abhihita Te. So this wisdom with reference to self-knowledge has been discussed to you so far. That is the first sentence. And the second sentence is what? Tu shruno imam buddhimatam yoge yuktaha yaya buddhaya prahasyasi karma bandham partha. So now listen also the wisdom of yoga, endowed with which you will get rid of the bondage of karmas. So that's very important. So far, the Lord has talked about the whys, why one should perform Swadharma from different point of views. And Sankhya here refers to the knowledge. Or it can be on a high level, it can be known as Jnana Yoga, the knowledge of the Atma. Now, the Lord is going to talk about the how part, which is the yoga. So how the topic is, how do you convert your day-to-day action as a means to purify your mind? So day-to-day actions is converted as a means for purifying your mind, and that is what is the theme of the yoga. So the scope of the Samkhya, so far we have seen, right? The subject matter of the Samkhya is a knowledge. It discriminates what is real and what is not real. Real, the definition is what? That which is not subjected to change at 3 points of time. And we saw that the reality is Atma, Ananya Abadidam, right? Ananya Atishtanam is Atma. Atma is not dependent upon anything, and everything else is dependent upon Atma. We saw that, right? And then every step of unfoldment was based on logic. So we saw that the body is Deha, is subjected to death, whereas the one who indwells in the body, Dehi, and the Dehi can be of two types, means Dehi can be of soul, or Dehi can be Atma. And if you refer Dehi as soul, that soul will transmigrate. And if you talk about Atma, nothing will happen. So it was a very logical explanation. And this is what is known as Samkhya. And the Samkhya can remove the ignorance about the Atma and help you to identify with your true identity. But the problem is what? Even if you know that, it has a prerequisite, right? So the other day I gave you the example. Any means of knowledge to work, there is a prerequisite. And that prerequisite varies from means of knowledge to means of knowledge. For example, if you use your eyes as the means of knowledge, you need to make sure that there is enough light. If the light is not there, you will not see an object. So if the Samkhya is used as a means of knowledge, the prerequisite is the mind should be pure and the mind should be stable. Chitta Shuddhi and Chitta Sthiti. And how do I gain this Chitta Shuddhi and Chitta Sthiti is the scope of yoga. And once I have the Chitta Shuddhi and the Chitta Sthiti, the Samkhya can lead you to the highest possibilities of life. So you understand this. This is very important because this Karma Yoga, right? The scope of Karma Yoga is vast, and number of topics and number of practices can come under the topic of Karma Yoga. The Bhakti Yoga or the prayer, the meditation, the Dhyana Yoga, and the so-called Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali, everything come under the scope of this. And this yoga is a discipline that help you to gain certain composure and certain mastery over the opposites. Basically, just understand Chitta Shuddhi and Chitta Sthiti. And this composure or this stability of the mind and the purity of the mind is an absolute must-have for gaining knowledge. So even though Jnana Yoga is the direct means for liberation, without Karma Yoga, the Jnana Yoga cannot work. Those who attended our Atma Yoga, Atma Bodha session, the first session itself, Shankaracharya made it very clear. Shankaracharya said that the direct means of cooking in a cooking process is the fire. But the fire cannot cook the food without the vessel, without the water, nothing. So the vessel and the water as the supporting means, whereas the fire is the direct means of cooking. Like that, yoga of knowledge or the Jnana Yoga or the Samkhya is the direct means for moksha or the highest possibilities of life. But without Karma Yoga, the Samkhya will not work. So it is extremely important. Nobody can skip Karma Yoga. Whatever is your lifestyle, you cannot say that I'm a sannyasi, so I'm not following Karma Yoga. It is not possible. The lifestyle can be different. There is a choice always in your lifestyle. In Sanskrit, we call it as Nishta, but there is no choice in the steps. The Karma Yoga is mandatory and Jnana Yoga is mandatory. And also, I really wanted to make it very clear that people always say that in Kali Yuga, you don't need to do anything. You don't have to follow the Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga or Bhakti Yoga can give you the moksha, which is completely wrong. This is the misrepresentation of the Vedic teaching. Vedic teaching is very clear. The Karma Yoga, what is the purpose of Karma Yoga? It can give you the purity of the mind. It can give you the stability of the mind. what exactly is the technique or the exact yoga you use in karma yoga? It varies from person to person. Like it can be hatha yoga, it can be pranayama, it can be bhakti yoga, it can be dhyana yoga, it can be kundalini yoga, anything. But any of that yoga, it can accomplish only one thing, which is the purity and the stability of the mind. Patanjali in his Yoga Sutra makes it clear, and Bhagavad Gita makes it very clear. So I don't know how this confusion happens. A lot of people think that Karma Yoga can give you direct moksha, which is wrong. Only knowledge can give you direct means. And in Atma Bodha, it is very well discussed by Shankaracharya. So let's give one more topic. So Krishna praises Karma Yoga, and he tells that it's as important as Jnana, right? Karma Yoga is not something less than Jnana Yoga, because without Karma Yoga, Jnana will not take place, or the knowledge will not take place. So to create certain value in Karma Yoga, Krishna praises Karma Yoga. And Krishna is telling that the knowledge of the Karma Yoga, it is going to remove the bondage of karma, because it is due to the mental impression, impurities of the mind, and the turbulence of the mind. And that is what is illustrated by Karma Bandha Prahasyasi. The Karma Yoga will help you to reduce the pressure of our mental impression on our mind. Because typically, Arnabji, your question itself, right? Typically, what I feel to do versus what I need to do happens because the pressure of the feelings will come on me, right? When I see something, the cricket match, what happens? The pressure of my feeling, the liking of the match will come and pull my mind away from what needs to be done. When you practice Karma Yoga, the immediate direct benefit of Karma Yoga is the pressure of these vasanas or these mental impressions will be reduced. As a result, I have a little bit more space to make the decision, or a little bit awareness.
Right, Rajaji. I was just going to say that I feel oftentimes guilty of the same offense that I keep blaming my son for. So when he's supposed to study, he's playing with his cell phone. And I keep telling him that, no, now it's time for you to study. But when it is my turn to follow those teachings, I myself fail.
The reason why you fail or why I fail, I also fail. All of us fail. Why? Because something in me, like Krishna is saying later point of time as highway robbers, right? You are determined to go to a destination. And what happens in between, you get robbed. Like that, you get robbed from your destination by different challenges. And these mental impressions, it is not your fault. Without reducing the power of that mental impression, you cannot get out of this. So the first step in emotional intelligence, actually this is pretty much aligned with what Goldman tells. First thing is awareness. You need to know that what exactly is the emotional push and pull happening in you. And then the second step is control. So it's a kind of a monitoring and control process. And on the other side, what happens? He tries to create some powerful positive impressions in you through this Karma Yoga. So that's the technique. We will unfold this one by one. But I just wanted to, Krishna is going to highlight the importance of this Karma Yoga. Probably Karma Yoga is not, even if somebody is not spiritual, somebody is not interested in moksha, they might be interested in Karma Yoga. And that is where the Gita is often taken to corporates and taught. You see here, right? Gita incorporates. This is the only portion. This is the portion. And 80% of the Gita is going to talk about Karma Yoga. So that's much important is this topic. So this is what but the three verses we had to cover today. So we saw that actually 3 verses. We started by saying that up to this, the second portion of the Gita, because the second chapter, the first portion was, we were told that what exactly is the problem? That is from verse 1 to 10. And verse 11 to 37, in fact, is the what needs to be done. And we were told very clearly that we should be performing our duties, what needs to be done, or Dharma. And this topic is explained in 3 different angles, from a spiritual perspective, from a dharmic perspective, and from a worldly perspective. And then he is telling us how is to be performed. And he made the headline very clear. Headline is how it is to be performed is emotionally intelligent. You should be performing this with an emotionally intelligent. Emotional intelligence is the skill you need to develop. And how to develop it? He said, you have to practice yoga. And I am going to teach you that. That is what it is. So we'll stop here. Any questions? 1 or 2 questions? Otherwise, we can, Anu can chant at least these 3 verses together once. Since we have
Rajesh, you just...
Yeah, please.
Yeah, didn't we in the last verse see a cyclic dependency between Gyan Yoga and Karma Yoga, in that for moksha, you have to have Gyan Yoga. You can't achieve with Karma Yoga. Correct. But then you cannot have Gyan Yoga without Karma Yoga.
No, actually, there is no cyclic dependency. We have seen a dependency for moksha, means the key dependency for moksha is the Jnana Yoga. Mm-hmm. And then for Jnana Yoga, there is a dependency for Karma Yoga. And for you to practice Karma Yoga, there is absolutely no dependency. And that is what the next verse Krishna is going to tell. You can practice, forget about moksha. You can practice Karma Yoga now and here. There is nothing is holding you. So it's not a cyclic dependency, but the highest goal, it's like PhD, means you have a dependency of masters. And the masters may have a bachelor's. And the bachelor's, you have a high school. But eventually it comes to the kindergarten, there is no dependency at all. Anybody can go in. Like that. Karma Yoga is the entry point. One more question was there, right? Who was that?
Yeah.
I forgot.
Rajesh, this is Sanjay.
Hey, Sanjay.
How are you?
Good.
One thing that we were talking, I think in the last session, to start the chanting practice. I mean, like, are we thinking about that, like, to utilize this summer?
Absolutely. Means let me talk to Anu, and let's see how many of you are interested. Put that in the group, and then I'll work with Anu, and we can do that. I think it is amazing to learn chanting. As I said, like when you chant, and if you can close your eyes, and one meditation I do personally is close my eyes and listen to the chanting of Gita. It's such a wonderful feeling it creates, right? It's so amazing to have that feeling. So I request you to learn the chanting, or at least listen to the chanting of Anu or somebody. A couple of CDs are there. I don't know which source you use. I can put a couple of audio recordings. The 2 I like is, one is Swamini Satyavratananda ji, and another one is Swami Brahmananda ji of Chinmaya Mission. Means one is Chinmaya Mission, the other one is Arshavidya tradition. And this tune, what we chant here, I like. There is a lot of other tunes are also there, but this tune has a beauty. It's really good.
Sure, thank you.
Rajesh, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
About the Karma Yoga removing the bondage. How is that different from the moksha itself?
Okay, so by bondage means the pressure of my impressions. So even if your mind is pure and stable, if you are ignorant about yourself, still you will not have moksha. So the example Vivekananda is giving is, right, in the Yoga Sutra commentary, is like a lake which is dirty and turbulent, and a diamond is lying under the pond or that lake. So the first step is clean the lake, all the dirt is going to go, and then make the lake calm. But still, if you don't know that the diamond is lying under the pond, you will not be able to find it. So that's why you need some knowledge which tells you that what you are searching lies here. So at that point of time, the self-inquiry means trying to understand who am I, it is going to work. but before that it will not work. The freedom from the bondage of karma is the eligibility to transfer this paroksha anubhuti into aparoksha. That's it. So that's an easy part, in fact. Means the knowledge part is very easy. The complicated part is the yoga. So out of the karma yoga is more complicated compared to the jnana yoga. Because jnana yoga, it's easy. We all can understand theoretically right now. But that it remains as theory. And imagine there is a situation can happen. Somebody is not interested in this theory at all, meaning about the moksha. He is doing karma yoga. Still, he will have a pure mind and a stable mind. So you can see that he will be emotionally intelligent. He can work very well. His actions will be extremely efficient. He may achieve all his material goal, but he will remain ignorant about himself. That scenario is there. That's what the difference is.
Thank you.
So, are you following the structure of the second chapter so far, right? That's why I'm trying to repeat the structure every day. The key topic and how each of these topic, how this flows. Because one way to make sure that our Gita study is meaningful and fruitful is making sure that we are following the sequence very diligently. It has to be connected. Every verse has to be connected to the other verse. And every chapter, you need to know what exactly is the theme of that chapter. So the Hindi lecture we are having, because of the public demand and because of the size, because in India, it just got exposed to a lot of people, and it's more than 500 people are attending that. So when you have 500 people in a conference, you cannot go a study like this. It's impossible, especially with the online media. So what we are doing is, because people's understandings are different, and also people come and go different time. So if a systematic unfoldment may not be possible when the group size is more than 30, it's impossible. So at that point of time, so what we are doing there is a summary of every chapter, and then a detailed study groups will be divided as small group. So they started with, I believe that the first chapter, but it's a summary of the chapter. But here also I try to emphasize the summary in between. So when you complete in the detailed study, once you complete a chapter, we will have a clear understanding of what exactly is that chapter is. That's why we call this program as deep learning. Okay. So somebody was talking to me about Gayatri Mantra. I would recommend a book. The book is called Tune in Mind, if you want. It's only a 47-page book. The author is Swami Chinmayananda. It is there in Kindle. It's only 99 cents or something like that. It's a brilliant book, exceptional language. On a step-by-step basis, he is guiding you through the Gayatri Mantra. So, a book recommendation. So
I read your recommended book on Mrityunjay Mantra also, Swami Swarupanandaji.
Honestly speaking, Mrityunjay Mantra is no way near. Honestly speaking, I was a little bit disappointed with the Mrityunjay Mantra book. I didn't want to say that publicly, but this book is amazing. Mrityunjay Mantra touches on the surface, right? If you may comment upon me, like it not going deep into the mantra and giving the mantra into you. It just touches on the surface. But this one is really good. It addresses the point. Yeah.
Sure, we'll all do that.
Rajji, what's the name of the Mrityunjaya Mantra book?
Maha Mrityunjay Mantra. Sanjay ji, can you tell?
Yes, I will share that with all. I mean, I went through that, and now Rajesh ji is saying about Gayatri Mantra. I'll go through that one.
Yeah, I'll share one book every day, and I'm studying a book called Atma Upadesha Shatakam right now. It's a Malayalam book, but I will amazing book, 100 verses on revealing the nature of self. I'll bring some of the important points there, but it's amazing. It's composed by Srinarayana Guru. That's the book, spiritual book I'm reading. And there is another interesting book for those who are interested. This book is known as Roar of the Ganges. Roar of the Ganges. It is written by Swami Tadatmanandaji. His spiritual experience, how a Caucasian from Milwaukee turned into a Advaita Vedanta monk. Brilliantly narrated. So this book is called Roar of the Ganges. So this lockdown always gives you an opportunity, right? Means I said, like, when it is rain, enjoy the rain. And this is quiet time. This is the time to read. And so the beauty of the reading is it will enhance your the depth and the breadth of your thinking.
Yeah.
It is not just it is applicable to almost everything you do. So please develop a habit of reading. It is nowadays you have the Kindle and everything, right? It's so convenient.
And I think these small books helps a lot. I mean, like you don't need to like 47, 50 pages are
pages.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I just wanted to, add to what Sanjay ji just mentioned, that the size of the book helps. But for me, at least, I need to develop a habit of reading, like a dedicated time set aside every day, even 10 minutes.
Yeah,
but
I can do one thing. We can create a group and we can have a Zoom session for 30 minutes every month. Everybody can come back and recommend what exactly the book they are reading and the gist of it, like a reading club. Because collectively a set of people read, it motivates you. And that's the only reason for me to share all these things, because I'm just sharing, right? All the books I'm reading, because that way means it will be it will develop always when other people are doing it will inspire you.
I'm very much interested in that, Rajesh ji.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm also see, I'm reading right now. I'm reading a book called Brahma Purana. Out of the 18 Purana, there is a book called. Don't go and read everything, right? So I would not recommend this Purana for anybody to read. It is just my intellectual curiosity. You won't gain much from that Purana. Once I completely read, I'll give you my honest opinion. Just because it's a Purana, I'm not going to say that it is fantastic. I'm saying that it is not much useful to all the people. So I will give my honest opinion on every book I read. Then I'm reading Robinson Crusoe. I'm enjoying that a lot. After a long time, it's a Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe. It's brilliant. Then I'm reading this Learned Optimism. I'm finishing that. I'm on the final pages. And then I'm reading this couple of autobiographies. Erwin Schrodinger's autobiography. This is fantastic. Not autobiography, the biography. It's very inspiring. I'll tell that in our book club, I'll tell. But let's stop. I know if you can chant these 3 verses once again. We'll stop there.
Hato va prapsyasi swargam jitva va bhokshyase mahim tasmaduttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nishchayah sukha dukkhe same krutva labhalabhau jaya chayo tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papamavapsyasi esha te bhita sankhye buddhir yoge tvimam shruno buddhya yukto yaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And we will see next Sunday. This week we'll try to have as much as possible all the classes. So hopefully we'll do the Gita and Vedanta and the machine learning. So we'll try. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, Rajesh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you.